The Mamba mentality has left a mark. Shout out to the NBA legend, Kobe, and your daughter, Gigi. From Tom Brady to Drew Bledsoe. Rain, sleet, or snow, I grind. I am clutch. I am the difference maker.
Clip it. Let's go.
I am the game changer.
Hello, and welcome to the TWSN Patreon page. Here we will provide you with the sports betting tips, picks, and information in order for you to become a successful gambler. We have 5 packages that I think really do an incredible job of providing the information tailored to you, what you want, and what your sports betting needs are. For more information, reach out to the TWSN team, but we have a ton of stuff coming your way. Content from fantasy football, sports betting for UFC, NBA, NHL, and of course, the NFL. We are so excited to be able to bring this service to you, and let us know if there's any more information you need.
Get up, let me begin. This is TWSN. You ain't heard about us yet, well you better know now because it's the place that it all goes down on.
Guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of the TWSN Game Changers, and I totally hijacked Cody's spot, but Cody, I'm going to shut up. This is what happens when you're so used to doing it for so many years.
Look, it's not the first time you've taken over the show, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not used to something like this. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Changers show. We got the full cast and crew, Daniel, Aidan, Alex, Malik, and Dash. And welcome to we got a week 1 recap. We got week 2 predictions. We have an absolutely packed show. I am incredibly pumped. And we have some social media stuff going on. Alex, take it away, man.
Yeah, before we get anything else started, I think we're only 6 subscribers away from 1,000. If you subscribe right now, when TWSN is at 1 million, 2 million, 20 million subscribers, you'll be able to say, wow, I was there before they hit 1,000. So go ahead and subscribe right now. Of course, subscribe to the Twitter, subscribe to the Instagram. And I know y'all saw at the beginning of the show, subscribe to our Patreon to make you that cash, moolah, cheddar, dollars, whatever adjective you want to use to describe it. Go make that money.
Absolutely, guys. Go and make that money, and we greatly appreciate all the support that you guys give us each and every single week, week in and week out. But with that said, guys, we want to jump into it. Got a lot of NFL stuff to talk about. Week 1 of the NFL has just came and it went, and now we're on to week 2. But we can't go to week 2 without addressing week 1, so that's what we're going to do while I add back my son. I tried to rap, but it didn't work out there. It didn't work out there for me. But
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss. I'm Dr. Seuss, or call me Jay-Z, or one or the other. But anyway, guys, we're going to start with the biggest takeaways from week 1. And I can't believe I just tried to rap on the show. I'm going to start with Dash. Dash, take it away, my man. What was your biggest takeaway storylines from week 1?
All right, so I think the biggest thing for me was the Packers. I think I did not expect them to come in and get their whole just game plan ruined. They didn't do anything. I believe they ran 14 offensive plays in the first half. That's unacceptable. But I think we need to not overreact to this. I think that this is just a fluke game, and I think they will bounce back. But, I mean, man, did they look bad. They looked really, really bad. Although, all right, I will say this. There was a team that got smacked by the New Orleans Saints at the beginning of last year. What did they go on to do? Win the Super Bowl. That's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I don't count the Packers out quite yet. But, I mean, be a little bit on edge after that first game. That was an absolute mess.
Yeah. Cody, take it away.
Look, I'm gonna get one of my biggest takeaways from week 1 from that same game, but my biggest takeaway is that LASIK eye surgery works, and the medical community has come a long way because they managed to fix Jameis Winston. They did the impossible. Future Hall of Famer Jameis Winston down in New Orleans, but in all seriousness, that Saints offense looked good, and they look good throwing the ball deep. They look good taking shots down the field. and they look good without Michael Thomas. And their tight ends kind of came alive. Troutman had a ton of targets. Juwan Johnson looked great for them at tight end. That New Orleans team is going to be competitive in the NFC South. And Jameis Winston looks good. Now, Green Bay Packers did not give their defense any help, like from a field position standpoint. But that being said, Jameis Winston threw 5 touchdowns and no interceptions. If he can put up 3-1, 2-0 all season long, that's going to win a lot of football games down in New Orleans.
Okay, Aidan, let's go to you.
So my team was the New England Patriots, and we lost a very winnable game. So my biggest takeaway is, at least as of now, the Patriots are not the Patriots. When I say that, this is the team that always gets the stop at the time, when it's needed. It's the team that's always executing, taking care of the football. Mac Jones looked good. There were a lot of positive takeaways from this game. But defensively, we were a little soft. I don't think anybody besides Adrian Phillips really wowed me on that side of the football. And offensively, 8 penalties, 4 fumbles. We couldn't, and again, defensively, couldn't come up with the timely stop. We got out-coached by the Miami Dolphins this week. Now, I'm going to cut the Patriots some slack because it's the first week. The playbook was very conservative in the first half with Mac Jones. It's his first start. But this is what happens when you build a team through free agency. It's going to take them some time to mesh and get on the same page. They're not there quite yet. And that Patriots aura, it just isn't quite there yet.
Can I respond?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
My boy Aidan, listen, we're both Patriots fans. What the hell are you talking about? Like, did you watch the same game as me? Listen, this is a New England Patriots team that lost by 1 point. That they fumbled in the red zone, a lot of penalties. But did you look at that offense? It looks like, okay, that's a wild take. But Mac Jones is running the Patriots offense almost like Tom Brady. I'm not comparing them, but the Patriots offense was running quick. It's quick drag routes. It's quick screen passes. It's James White on a wheel route. Yes, the Patriots lost, but to say that the Patriots aura, the Patriots way is gone is just plain wrong. They lost 1 game at home, yes, but what I saw, I loved their defense. They held the Dolphins to 17 points, and if instead of going 1 for 4 in the red zone, if they go 2 for 4, if they don't turn the ball or fumble the ball 4 times, they win that game. So I just can't get behind the Patriots way is gone because the Patriots still looked the same as they always have.
Well, we're adding Aidan back in. So, Aidan, I'm going to let you get an opportunity to respond to Daniel. Daniel said the Patriots have looked the same exact. They are who we thought they are, who we thought they were. They are still the New England Patriots. They are still, the team to beat, whatever, blah, 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 blah. To what do you say?
The Patriots have a losing record since, that season, last season with Tom Brady, since the middle point of that season after we started, 8-0, 9-0, they have a losing record. 8 penalties, 4 fumbles yesterday. They didn't get a stop. No, not yesterday. In Sunday's game. They didn't get a stop when they needed to down the stretch of that game. They got out-coached by the Miami Dolphins. Is that the same Patriots team that we've been talking about for the past 2 decades? No.
I'm just confused. The out-coached part. Listen, the penalties were an issue. The turnovers were an issue. But you're telling me a team that went 1 for 4 in the red zone? This looked more like Mac Jones getting his feet wet. That's not going to happen again. So They gave up how many? They gave up 17 points to the Dolphins. The Dolphins' offense didn't look great. So I'm just confused as to where you're saying, because the Patriots, they look good. Their run game still looked great. Their offense, on Sunday, looked light years better than they did last year. Light years better because they had drag routes. Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, Nelson Aguilar got involved. The running game, if they don't turn the ball, if they don't fumble the ball 4 times, and I assure you that's not going to happen again, they win that game. So explain to me the offense. How did it get worse? And how is this Patriots way gone?
I never said the offense got worse. Never once did I say that. I loved Mac Jones in that game. I thought he played really well. Now, I'm not saying it's gone. It's just the aura isn't back yet. This is a team of half their starters are free agents. And defensively, first I'll focus on the coaching. They got out-coached.
I didn't like the matchups in the secondary. I don't understand why J.C. Jackson's not on Devontae Parker. Why isn't Jonathan Jones in the slot on Jalen Waddle? Why is Jalen Mills taking Devontae Parker? They'd constantly target Devontae Parker and attack that matchup every time Jalen Mills was on him. Now, in the last drive, typically they come up with a timely stop there, but they didn't. The defense was not good in that game on Sunday. Besides Adrian Phillips in the second half, tell me one player that impressed you on that defense.
They gave up 17 points.
They gave up 17 points, but I don't think that was a reflection.
The offense was the issue.
I don't think that was a reflection of how well the defense played.
Well, listen, guys, here's the beautiful thing. It's week 1. It's a time for overreaction and reaction. Hold your horses before we race to judgment. It's one football game. The Miami Dolphins are the more experienced team at this point in terms of playing together. Brian, let's not just talk about the Patriots here. Hats off to Brian Flores going into Foxborough, doing what a lot of people struggle to do week 1, and that's beating Bill Belichick with his staff. Hats off to that. Tua, you still ain't it, but good win for you. Alex, let's go to you. Alex, what was your week 1 takeaway? Let's hear it.
My week 1 takeaway is that the Arizona Cardinals are really them boys. I mean, they are about it. They got a lot of big-name guys over. They had a crazy offseason. They come in. I've been a huge believer in Kyler Murray, and he played out of his mind. The Arizona Cardinals looked like an extremely complete team and one that can really win that division. I've been saying since the beginning that division is going to be the toughest to win. That division is by far the best in football, and I probably had the Arizona Cardinals as the least likely to win it, but they did not look least likely to win that division last week. I mean, they absolutely balled out from start to finish. So I'm just 100% going to say my biggest takeaway is the Arizona Cardinals are a real threat in the NFC.
Daniel, was that your takeaway that you wanted to give, or was that you just arguing with Aidan?
No, that was me arguing with Aidan. You know I have to argue.
What's your takeaway before I give mine? Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, honestly, Alex took mine. Aidan took mine. I'm going to say the Chargers' offensive line makes them contenders, right? And that the biggest thing is everyone loves to look at Justin Herbert, loves to look at Derwin James coming back, Joey Bosa on the team, but they fail to realize that Rashawn Slater dominated Chase Young. That matchup we saw in college, he did the same exact thing. Chase Young switched off from him after 1 quarter. Okay? And then you also added Corey Linsley on the interior and also added Matt Fielder. The offensive line didn't look great because the Washington football team front 7 or front 4 is still the best in football, but it held its own. And that's the reason why they won. So if that offensive line if they didn't improve the offensive line this offseason, they lose that game. So their offensive line, that's what's going to take them to the top this season.
All right. I want to apologize. To the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base. Before the season started, I dug your grave. I wore black. And I talked about your demise. Look, you did the unthinkable. It seems like everyone's tiptoeing around it. I won't tiptoe around it. You did the unthinkable. Everyone up and their mama up here picked the Buffalo Bills to win last week. Didn't happen. The Pittsburgh Steelers went into Buffalo and they beat them in front of a ruckus crowd, in front of Bills Mafia, and they made us all look stupid, to be completely honest with you. Why? Because there's more to football than just playing offense. There's 3 phases of football: offense, defense, and special teams. And the Pittsburgh Steelers won in every single phase. Steelers offense didn't look great to me, to be honest with you. Pittsburgh Steelers offense didn't look great to me. And I will say this: if you run around in Cincinnati with that offense, what did my man say in that meme a long time ago? You will get clapped. That's the God's the honest truth. I'm not impressed with the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. I am impressed with their decision making. I am impressed with how they play situational football. I am impressed with how they're disciplined when they need to be disciplined. Shouts out to TJ Watt for going out there and harassing Josh Allen. A lot of us, some people who had Josh Allen in the MVP conversation. I'm not sure if that changes after Sunday, but it certainly puts him behind the 8 ball. That all being said, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I apologize for for writing you off because it still takes team football to win football games. This is not me saying the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to make the playoffs. This is not me saying Big Ben is back to his old self. This is not me saying that I am impressed in terms of what the Pittsburgh Steelers outlook looks like for the rest of the season. But to go into Buffalo, who a team that many people, including myself, had as potential Super Bowl contenders, and to do what you did to them. All right. Okay. You got the Raiders next week. They're next up. Let's touch on a couple of other week 1 things, guys, that happened. Okay, so we touched on the Cardinals beating the Tennessee Titans. What did you guys make of Vrabel coming out talking about Julio made a dumbass penalty that hurt the team? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think he was being too harsh on Julio? Do you think that's the way a head coach should want to start the relationship off with a guy like Julio Jones, especially? I saw something, it wasn't funny, but I saw something on Twitter that made me chuckle a little bit. It was like, he better watch how he talks to Julio because that hamstring might flare up again. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Cody, you're probably the most level-headed guy on here, so let's talk to you. What are your thoughts?
First off, I'll take that compliment. Incredibly incorrect, but I'll take it.
Wow.
My thought is Julio comes in with expectations, right? Like when you have big guy, like Julio is a leader. He was a leader on the Falcons, and he is expected to be a leader on this young Titans team. You can't make plays like that. And Vrabel knows it. He called him out on it, and I expect Julio to not make a play like that again. It is what it is. Was Vrabel wrong in calling out his stud veteran wide receiver? I don't think so. He made a mistake.
Right.
Now, Julio is the type of guy who would also say, yes, I did make a mistake, and it won't happen again because I'm that good of a football player.
Right.
So I think it's one of those things where that while it did flare up on social media for a little bit, I'm not worried.
All right. Okay, let's keep it going. How about how horrible the Falcons looked? The Falcons look like absolute trash. I mean, they might as well have not shown up. To get beaten that bad by the Philadelphia Eagles, who honestly I'm not that high on. Hats off to, again, this is not one of those narratives where I'm going to, the same thing with the Patriots game. I'm not going to disrespect, I didn't disrespect the Miami Dolphins because I think the shout out to Miami Dolphins are going there executing their game plan. Same thing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles went into Atlanta and they beat the brakes off the Atlanta Falcons. Kyle Pitts, where you at, man? You're a top 5 pick. Where you at? Offensive line, they brought offensive line, and I love the right tackle. Who's the guy? Mayfield, Jalen Mayfield. He's like point blank period. What he tweeted during the draft. You want your quarterback not to get touched? Draft me. Well, in the words of Drake and Future, where your ass was at, because I'm the offensive line. I mean, they continuously harass you. I'm trying to figure out who looked worse on the offensive line. You or Alejandro Villanueva for their respective team. But we'll get to the Ravens losing to the Raiders in the fashion that they did. What were your guys' thoughts? I'm going to talk to Aidan. Aidan, what were your thoughts on the Falcons? What the hell listen, at this point, they should have kept, what's his name as the head coach? Campbell. They should have kept Dan. Is that his name? Dan is not Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell's.
What's the defense coordinator for the Packers? For the Cowboys now. Dan Quinn. They might as well kept Dan Quinn. That team did not show up. That's how you bring in a new regime. That's how you bring in a new era. I said it during the preseason. Everybody's like, well, you know what? The preseason is just the preseason, just the preseason. Well, I felt like he kept trying to run the Atlanta Falcons offense as if he was still the offense coordinator of the Tennessee Titans. Newsflash. You don't have Derrick Henry. You don't have Derrick Henry back there. You can't hand it to a running back, in a ridiculous amount of times a game and think that your team is going to be able to bounce back and be fine. And then it doesn't work that way. Aidan, what are your thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, that was my concern with Arthur Smith in Atlanta because this is a very different offense. In Tennessee, the engine was Derrick Henry. It was the run game. In Atlanta, it's going to have to be a lot of passing. That's what this team is. It's an air raid offense. Defensively, they're just soft. It's exactly what I expected. I don't like this defense at all. And offensively, I was a little disappointed because I'm not high on the Falcons this season. I had them going like 5-12, I think. But I did have them winning this football game because I was not high on the Eagles. And again, credit to them. They came in and played better than I thought they would. But I think part of it is Atlanta just sucked. Point blank, they just sucked in this game. Offensively, they just couldn't get into a rhythm. I don't see how if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, you can come away from this game happy at all.
Guys, want to keep it going. The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa, and holy hell, did Dak make a comeback. Dak looked fantastic. The team looked good. The defense looked good. Unfortunately, they lost to Marcus Lawrence today due to a foot injuries, a broken foot, so he's going to be out for the better part of the season. Those are Ian Rappaport's words, not mine. Alex Sagini, the king of the sip god. What are your thoughts on Dak Prescott? Oh, I know you and you guys in Mississippi love Dak Prescott. What were your thoughts, not on the Buccaneers, because I'm pretty sure everyone knew the Buccaneers are going to come out on this game, come away the winners of this game. However, the Cowboys look damn good. Some could even say that the Buccaneers got outplayed by the Cowboys all game. What were your thoughts?
There's a lot of people around here that are huge fans of Dak Prescott. So trust me, if there's a highlight of Dak Prescott, I've probably seen it. Yeah, Dak Prescott impressed a ton. I mean, comeback player of the year is looking like I don't know. He's got some good competition, but week one, he looked like he wanted that bad. Week one, Dak Prescott looked like he might be saying, forget comeback player of the year. I want the MVP. I mean, Dak Prescott really bought. He really impressed me. The entire Cowboys team did. It's exactly kind of what we envisioned, though. Before Dak Prescott got hurt last year, the Cowboys were a good offense, and that's the way they were this year in last week's game. They absolutely brought it to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers that we've heard over and over again about this defense, and they got all their starters back, and they're still the best defense in the league. Well, I'll tell you what, the Cowboys just went out and balled out on those boys. So I have big expectations for the Cowboys this year, that's for sure.
Want to keep it going. Sam Darnold made his debut for the Carolina Panthers against his former team, the New York Football Jets. Dash Pedersen, tell me what you thought of Sam Darnold putting a beating on them boys.
I mean, I think Sam Darnold showed flashes again. I don't think it was a entirely complete game. I don't think he looks like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, but he did have a great deep ball to Robbie Anderson. But my biggest takeaway from that game was the Jets stink. The Jets aren't going to be good. I think Zach Wilson is still a front runner for Rookie of the Year. I think he looked great with Corey Davis. It's something that I've been talking about all preseason, but that's about it. I don't think the Jets have a whole lot going for them this year. I mean, again, it's really young coaching staff, really young team, but the Jets just didn't look good. Sammy Darnold, good start in Carolina. I think it might be a lot tougher this week, though.
Absolutely. I want to keep it going, guys. I want to keep it going. Our boys, the Cincinnati Bengals, win against the Minnesota Vikings in Cincinnati. And as I predicted, as a lot of us predicted, the Cincinnati Bengals came out on top. I was called an idiot before that. I'm not going to touch on it because people say, you took about the Bengals too much. Daniel, what were your thoughts on the Cincinnati Bengals defeating the Minnesota Vikings and holding, Dalvin to 61 yards rushing?
First off, props to you, Malik. You literally called that to a T. You called it Evan McPherson if it comes down to the wire. But the biggest thing is people didn't realize just how talented this team is, right? I mean, I love to look at the offense. Joe Mixon has the most rushing yards in the league right now, number one in the league. Offense looked good. Jamar Chase with the touchdown. Apparently he can catch, I guess. So the offensive line still looked a little bit shaky. But hey, Joe Burrow, 4th and 1 in overtime, and he changed the play at the line of scrimmage. That's what you want out of your quarterback. So honestly, all I can say is people just didn't do their homework before the season. And the reality is they have an easy schedule for the next 3 weeks. You got the Bears this week, you got the Steelers, and you got the Jaguars. I guarantee you that's the easiest first 4 games out of the entire NFL this year. So I don't know. I love this team, love their offense, and also I don't know as much about the defensive line as you guys, but the defensive line, everyone was saying, balled out. Dalvin Cook, 61 yards. Had nothing going on the run game, so they surprised a lot of people, but we know damn well they didn't surprise us. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. To your point, the defensive line looked damn good. They had they declined 5 penalties that could have been extra on the Minnesota Vikings offensive line. That's how badly the Cincinnati Bengals are dominating this game. It could have been a blowout had we not went for it on 4th and 1, but that's neither here nor there. Now it's time for a very, very special part of the show. And I miss football so much because I've missed doing this. I've missed this so much, Cody. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns, you had it right there in sight. You had the game. You could have beat them. With a minute and probably like 10 seconds left, you had a timeout. Baker Mayfield goes for Burke on 1st and 10 and throws an interception. Ooh, this is my favorite part. I hate to say I told you so. But who am I kidding? I love to say I told you so. It's always going to come down to Baker Mayfield. You can only mask the flaws of a quarterback in this league for so long. This team, unfortunately, is only going to go as far as Baker Mayfield can beat. You can mask flaws for so long. The fact of the matter is, you can look good in the first quarter. You can look good in the second quarter because those guys, they jumped out to an early lead on the Kansas City Chiefs. And then what happened? They stalled out. I've said it time and time again. This damn Browns team cannot play with the lead against a really competitive team. They just don't do it. They always find a way to fumble it. I don't give a damn that you're shaking your head, Daniel. I don't give a damn that you're rolling your eyes, Daniel, because I'm not going to you on this one, Daniel. I'm going to Cody. I'm going to my main man, Cody. Baker Mayfield is trash. Tell me otherwise.
I think you're wrong. And look, Baker Mayfield has to understand exactly who he is. He does not need to win the game like Patrick Mahomes had to go out and win the game for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? The way that the Browns rely on him is entirely different than than a lot of quarterbacks are relied on in this league. He needs to go out there. He needs to be efficient, effective, and not turn the ball over, right? He doesn't need to win the deep ball. He doesn't need to take the ball deep, take the top off the defense, throw for 300 yards and 4 TDs, right? Patrick Mahomes has to do that in order for that Chiefs team to win because they can't run the ball. Baker doesn't have to do that.
Cody,
that being said,
Cody,
he made one interception in the fourth quarter.
Cody,
it's tough. It is what it is.
Cody, here's where you're missing where I'm saying, though. Because his team is so talented, he does not need to do that. He does not to play hero ball. But because of Baker Mayfield's intuition and how he plays football, he always feels like he wants to be the guy to, carry that burden, to carry that on his shoulders. He can't accept the fact. That's why I was called an idiot last year on the TWSN show when I said Baker Mayfield is not capable when the going gets tough of playing game manager, because he has shown time and time again with his costly interceptions, with his fumbles. It's okay. You have 2 dominant backs in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. It's okay to hand the ball off to those guys, especially considering the circumstances. You had time on the clock. You still had everything in front of you. You still had everything to work with. But no, you felt pressure and you threw it up on a comeback route when you knew it wasn't a good ball. You knew when it left your hands it wasn't a good ball. Why? Why make those boneheaded decisions? Listen to what I'm trying to say. This isn't me slandering Baker Mayfield. This is not me slandering Baker Mayfield. This is me being freaking real about football in the NFL. This is me being real about football in the NFL. At some point, your quarterback is going to have to go out there and win the football game for you. At some point, whether it's in the Super Bowl, whether it's in the divisional round, whether it's in the conference championship, your quarterback is going to have to play the position of quarterback and lead your team down there and make a play happen for them. Baker Mayfield has shown time and time again. CBS released the crazy stat where he has led the NFL in interceptions in the fourth quarter since entering the league. He has shown time and time again that he's incapable of doing that against really good football teams. So I'm simply saying this is not me shitting on Baker Mayfield. This is me being real. Because if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I'm telling you what it is. We had Andy Dalton for a bunch of years. And yes, Baker Mayfield is better than Andy Dalton. Yes, he is. However, we fell into the same spell of making excuses for him for years and years and years. Alex, Cody, Dash, am I lying? We made excuses for him for years.
You did.
We made excuses for him for years. But, so what I'm saying is, if there are clear deficiencies, or if there are things that he's not able to do to uplift your team, because it's clear the team is uplifting Baker Mayfield, not the other way around. At some point, when's enough? Dash, what do you think?
How are you going to have them recycle the quarterback?
I'm not saying recycle the quarterback. I'm simply just bashing on him for the simple fact that he made a boneheaded decision, and he continuously makes boneheaded decisions. But we'll get to you, Cody. Dash, what are your thoughts?
All right, look, if I'm the Browns, saying enough is a really hard thing to do with a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, because you look at the quarterbacks they had before Baker Mayfield, and can anybody at this point name all of them? Like Derek Anderson, Brady Quinn, like they were a mess in Cleveland, right? And now you finally have a guy who you think is he's good. He's better than anybody you've had in recent memory. But
say that one more time, Dash. Dash, say that one more time. I think that's so critical and so important about what they've had in the past versus what they have now.
He's easily the best quarterback they've had in a long, long time. Easily. The Browns have been an absolute mess at quarterback. Baker Mayfield is different. Is he good enough to win them the Super Bowl? No, he's not. But he is better than everybody, and that's going to be hard for a franchise to move on from. When he took them to their first playoffs in a long time, it's going to be hard to say, all right, no, we're not going to stick with this guy because he is our best chance at winning right now, and he has been our best chance for a long time.
Right, and I want people to. I see people disrespect Baker Mayfield on Twitter, and I'm not one of those guys that are like he's Johnny Football 2.0. I am not going to say that. But at the same time, guys, right? Understand what you have at the quarterback position. Make sure he understands how you view him and what you think of him, right? Or what you're going to allow him to do. Like just play within the offense. Play not just sometimes, consistently. Play within the offense. You are not an off-script guy. You are not. You have shown that you cannot be. Play within the offense, and I believe that will result in success for the Cleveland Browns. Play within the offense, and I believe that will result in success for the Cleveland Browns. It's not difficult. Listen, I'm a Bengals fan. The Cleveland Browns have a team right now to win the Super Bowl. The Cleveland Browns, I picked them to beat the Chiefs last week. That's how much I believe in this team. So I'm pissed off for Cleveland Browns fans because that game was winnable. Anyway, want to keep it going though, guys. I'm done bashing on Baker Mayfield. The Raiders lost to the the Raiders defeated the Baltimore Ravens. The Raiders were my pick going into that game as well. I feel bad for the Baltimore Ravens. I feel bad for Lamar Jackson, to be completely honest with you. He has the worst offensive line that he's played with since he's been in the National Football League. For that type of offense and his type of playing style, he needs good offensive line play up front, especially for that offense to execute. One thing that's for sure, it doesn't matter who's running back for the Baltimore Ravens, they're still going to be able to run the ball on you. Doesn't matter. But I have some serious concerns. Andres Villanueva, he's bad. And I remember they thought they got a good deal. And the Pittsburgh Steelers fans were laughing at them, and I was laughing at them because Villanueva's not good. And you saw that all game. You saw it all game, him getting turned around. And yes, Dash, you can. Talk about the Ravens. What were your thoughts? I want to go through everybody here. What does everyone think the Ravens? Let's start there. What does everyone think the Ravens' ceiling is, right? Because the Ravens are really, realistically, for probably the first time in the Lamar Jackson era, facing 0-2 because next week they have the Chiefs. Dash, what are your thoughts?
Look, the Ravens, I think they go 0-2 for the first time since 2015, and it'll be only the fifth time ever. I think the Ravens might be looking at the kind of regression we were talking about with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the preseason. I think that this Ravens team, with the injuries in the backfield, with the injuries in the secondary to Marcus Peters, this team is not as good as it used to be. I think that this will be a surprise. People are still high on the Ravens. They have a great coach. They're still going to play good situational football. But the Ravens, they could very, very well not make the playoffs this year and see the worst season in quite a while. In the Lamar Jackson era, for sure. This could really be a different Baltimore Ravens team than we're used to seeing.
Alex, you've been kind of quiet over there. I want to hear your thoughts.
I completely agree. I'm not ready to overreact too much. I still think the Ravens are a good football team because they have a good coach and just have a good core at the end of the day. I think they have the pieces to win, to be 500 or better. I don't think they're an awful football team, but are they what everyone has been expecting? No, they're not even what I was expecting from looking at the first game. The first game, they looked really bad, and they're for sure starting the season 0-2. I don't know who they play week 3, but they better hope it's an easier opponent, or they might start out the season on a slippery slope. The Ravens have had so many injuries, and it sucks to see on a team that so many people had high expectations for. I said last week that I think the league is starting to catch up a little bit with Lamar Jackson, and he's going to have to rely on his arm more than he has before because of the offensive line issues, because of the injuries to the backfield. We are going to see this year, can Lamar be that guy to drop back and throw the ball, air the ball out, and win games with his arm. If he can, then the Raiders are going to be fine and still going to be a playoff team. If Lamar can't do that, then no, the Ravens are going to be around 500. And
do you see the disrespect going on for Lamar Jackson? They're like, oh, Jalen Hurts has more 300-yard passing games than Lamar Jackson. Cody, go ahead. Yeah.
Look, if we're talking about costly turnovers, what's the difference between a fumble in the fourth quarter and a fumble in overtime to lose the game?
Yeah.
You want to talk about comparing Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
But what's the difference? Lamar has not been able to do it in the clutch time either. So I understand, like, everybody's high on Lamar. The dude is a human highlight reel, and I understand that. But if you're going to win, like, if you want to pin winning playoff games on good quarterback play and elevating the people around you, Lamar Jackson has to do that.
I'm right there with you. I'm
not a hater.
I'm literally right there.
I'm
literally right there with you. That's not being a hater. That's the unfortunate reality of flashy football versus actual football when it actually matters. You have to be able to uplift your team. You have to be able to perform in that moment. People don't want to hear that, but the fact of the matter is I've been studying football for well over 15 years at this point. And the fact of the matter is that's a fact, Cody. You're talking a fact. That's a fact. You have to. That's not something that's what, and for those of you who've been around the game football, played football, and some of us who've coached football, they teach you about situational football. These are the fundamental things that they teach you, right? It's don't, like, playoff football is drastically different from regular season football because, you know, the game gets played at a different level. It's kind of hard to explain, and we have a show, and I don't have the time to necessarily break everything down specifically, but teams do not play the exact same way necessarily offensively that they do regular season versus the NFL playoffs. Danny, you seem like you're really itching to say something. You're really looking to disagree with Cody. So what are your thoughts?
Like, great point. Like, it makes sense. My issue right now, if we're looking at this team, I'd say heading into this year, the only way that I can see, because, you know, the question's always, oh, can Lamar be a better passer? Can he do it in the clutch? I think that the only way, it is a question, but I think the way to counteract that is have a dominant offensive line and have a dominant defensive line. I think if they could have had a dominant run game, a dominant offensive line, and a dominant defensive line, I think they can do it without him having to even prove that. But now that they don't have that dominant running game, now that they don't have that dominant offensive line, they're in trouble. They're in trouble.
Oh, that's
the defense worries me too, man. That defense, with missing Marcus Peters, letting deep balls go late in the game. Brian Edwards beat them deep, and Brian Edwards has had a rocky start to his career last year, but a good player. To see him take the ball deep in overtime and then a busted coverage with Zay Jones. Look, if you're going to have a hard time defending the deep ball, and if you get down early in Baltimore, that is going to be a tough slate.
And to this question, I'm not going to say he loafed at the end of the game. I would just pretty much say I don't know. I gotta rewatch that play over and over again, but I'm pretty sure there was like some miscommunication in that route. I'm pretty sure he got caught with his eyes looking in the backfield. He thought his team was going to get to the blitz, and he didn't realize the guy ran right by him. But at that point, I mean, even if he would have like ran 110%, he was so many yards ahead of Marlon Humphrey. I don't think that necessarily would have mattered, but I don't know. I think that this Ravens team is in for some struggles. And the sad part about this is the fact that Lamar Jackson's contract isn't done. And I'm just afraid that the Ravens may look at this season, depending on how it goes, and be like, aha, this is why we shouldn't pay him this. That's the unfortunate part about him not getting the contract done before the season, because we know how these NFL teams think, guys. We know it. They're going to look at this. They're going to judge him hard as hell on this season. They are. Because the realistically thing, after he signs that big contract, it's going to be like, okay, well, what happens if we do sign Lamar Jackson to a big contract? What happens to the rest of our team? He's shown he can't prove and uplift the team around him. Unfortunately, Lamar Jackson had a hell of a game, on Monday night, but it just wasn't enough. Too many costly turnovers. It's unfortunate, but we'll see. Guys, with that being said, we need to jump into week 2 predictions. We're going to jump into week 2 predictions and give our prediction on some games. Well, most of the games. Let's keep it going. Giants are traveling to Washington to take on the Fitzpatrick-less Washington football team. Taylor Heineke is getting the start against the the New York Football Giants. We know Evan Ingram is out for the game. So I'm going to start with Aidan. Aidan, who wins this game?
I'm going to go with the Washington football team here. The Giants were so disappointing in that first week. I had them losing, and I know the football team lost as well, and they're without Fitzpatrick. I'm not the biggest Heineke guy, but in the past 2 games that he's played, he's looked solid. And this Giants defense, I know they were a little above average last year, but they don't really have a pass rush. I honestly thought they overachieved a little bit. And with the lack of tape on Taylor Heineke, and with this being such a execution, let's study the guy and just attack them, attack their weaknesses based off the film, I just don't know how much success this Giants defense is going to have. And when I look at their offense, I'm just not big on it at all. I'm not a Daniel Jones believer at all. I think you need a really good offensive line for him to have any sort of success. The Giants do not have that. And the football team happens to have one of the best front sevens in the league. They're going to feast on this terrible offensive line. They're going to get pressure on Daniel Jones, force a couple turnovers. I have the football team winning.
But Daniel Jones is undefeated against the Washington football team. That's what I see on Twitter now. The one thing we have going for us is Daniel Jones is undefeated against the Washington football team. So that must means it's going to equal into a win because we have Kenny Golladay and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, we'll see. Daniel, what are your thoughts? Really quickly.
I think I'm taking Washington. I loved Heineke, man. I'm betting big time on Heineke this week. I just think that the football team's defensive line is going to dominate the Giants' offensive line. That was the whole conversation in the offseason, the whole conversation in the preseason. The Giants' offensive line is bad. So, to me, this is a pretty easy pick. Love Washington's defensive line. And I think it's going to be a slugfest. I think it's going to be closer than people think. But give me the Washington football team.
Alex, what are your thoughts?
I don't think it's going to be closer than people think. I think this one might be a complete blowout from start to finish. I don't think that the Giants are going to be able to do anything on offense at all. I mean, at all. I think they're going to be suffocated from the moment they say hut to the moment the final play. The Washington football team takes that kneel down. Taylor Heineke does. And Taylor Heineke on the other side, I think he can make something happen. I know Taylor Heineke is not elite. He's not great or anything. But when I watch this guy, he does make things happen, and he wills his team to be in winning positions. This Washington defense is going to absolutely destroy the Giants from start to finish. Give me Washington.
Adash, what are your thoughts?
Washington defense will win the game. Don't be surprised if we come away next week talking about how Taylor Heineke is better than Daniel Jones.
Cody?
What is understood doesn't need to be said. That defensive line, it is what it is. It's the same reason I picked the Broncos. Give me the football team.
I don't know. I think that this is one of those weird games where we could also see the Giants.
Don't overthink it, Malik. Come on now.
I don't know. It's like, I'm going with the Washington football team in a close game, though. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a close game because it is a divisional matchup, guys. So we got to keep that in mind as well. And I think that the
line is currently -3.5 Washington football team.
Yeah,
I think it's about right.
I think both teams show up. Raiders coming high off of being the Baltimore Ravens take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cody, who we like?
Look, this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be better than some people were anticipating if you looked at week 1. That being said, do I anticipate the Raiders to play 2 great games in a row and then come and beat Pittsburgh after a incredible opening to their stadium? I don't, right? The Pittsburgh defense is very good. They're better than Baltimore's defense. And I don't trust the offensive line in Oakland enough in order to keep them at bay. So give me the Steelers in this one.
Dash?
Pittsburgh, same kind of reasons as Washington. It's the defense. This defense is really, really good. I was really impressed with the evolution of the defense even last week. Seeing Minkah Fitzpatrick do new things that he's never done before. That was impressive. I think we might see him lined up on Waller in the slot, running around with him, which could be a really interesting matchup. But yeah, I think the Steelers will outcoach.
If I was the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'd probably stay away from that. I think you want Minkah Fitzpatrick roaming around. I don't think you want to just stick him on one guy, even though that is Derek Carr's favorite target. Minka Fitzpatrick has a way of just coming up with interceptions when he's just being allowed to run around and stuff like that. I wouldn't confine him strictly to Darren Waller. Darren Waller doesn't not catch everything.
That dude had 19 targets in week 1.
This is true.
19.
This is true. So, yeah, we'll see. Alex, your thoughts?
Call me crazy. I'm taking the Raiders in this game. I'm still not sold on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I get they had a very good game. I get the Steelers are so well coached, maybe the best coach team in the NFL, because it seems like they really don't have that much of a roster. Year after year, I think that they're going to take a step down, but they keep on trucking along. They keep on having winning seasons. I think the Steelers are a very well coached team. With that being said, I still, in my head, cannot see this team being good enough to win a lot of games. So give me the Raiders. The Raiders really seemed like they really wanted it. The Raiders played not great, but decently against the Ravens, and I'm going to keep picking against the Steelers. I don't think that they just showed out against the Bills. I think the Bills more disappointed than anything else. So give me the Raiders.
Daniel, you're shaking your head. What's up?
Yeah, come on, Alex. Come on. Listen, the biggest thing is overtime takes a lot out of a team, right? You go from Vegas, that stadium is rocking. That is a season opener, the first time having fans in there. The Raiders are pumped up. They go to overtime. They win that big game, but then you got to travel all the way to the East Coast, play the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, while they beat the Bills, they didn't look spectacular, and they didn't need to do anything special to win that game. They had a punt return for a touchdown, or a blocked punt for a touchdown. And I just think that this Steelers team, more well-coached, I can see Najee Harris finally having a good game, finally breaking out. And to me, the overtime takes a lot out of the Raiders. I think this is an easy letdown game. I'm taking Steelers in this.
Aidan, talk to us.
Steelers. I'm not going to side with Alex, unfortunately, here. The Raiders are good for a couple upset games a year. That Week 1 performance against the Ravens on Monday Night Football was one of them, but they've never proven any week-to-week consistency. That's the one thing I'll say. I think everybody else covered everything else.
Here's what I will say. This game is going to be close as hell. Their last 4 matchups, dating back to 2012, Pittsburgh 31, Oakland 34. 2013, Pittsburgh 18, Oakland 21. 2015, Oakland 35, Pittsburgh 38. 2018, last time these guys faced, 21-24. You guys see the pattern there? Last 4 times these guys have matched up, these games have been down to the wire. So, that all being said, who the hell knows? These guys play each other tough. These guys play each other close. I'm staying away from the money line on this game.
Fair.
I'd go with whatever the spread is. Cody, I don't know if you have the numbers in front of you at all.
Yeah, Steelers are 5.5-point favorites.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't touch that. I think this game is very close. Maybe get down to probably a field goal. It seems like these teams always play each other tough. And listen, you cannot discount the fact that these two teams are both coming off of upset victories that they were not supposed to win. Do not discount that factor, that upset factor. Both teams are high. Both teams are coming in excited. For that being said, I'm going to lean the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm staying the hell away from the money line. I'm going to stay away from the game in total. I'm just going to watch it as a fan. As a fan of football, I'm going to watch that game. Yes, Daniel.
The over-under is 47. Right now, it seems like a lot of people are betting the under, so I'm really interested to see what happens as the season the rest of the week goes on.
Listen, I don't think that the Raiders find a way to give up games, to be honest. Like they were handing that game over to the Baltimore Ravens last week. They were literally handing the game over to them. That all being said, they cannot play like that against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Also, I don't think that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense has enough firepower to keep up with that. They're going to need a full game from offense, defense, and special teams. I'm willing to bet Derek Carr throws a pick 6 or fumbles late somewhere close to his own goal. We'll see how it all goes, but that's my prediction. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win this game, but in very, very close fashion. I'll take it by a field goal. That's my prediction. Keeping it going, guys. Sorry, I had to just pull that stat up because I always knew that these teams play each other close. The 49ers travel to Philadelphia to take on the red-hot Philadelphia Eagles. And we're going to start with Alex. Alex, who we got in this game?
I hate to say I told you guys so, but I told you that the Eagles were a better team than y'all are giving them credit for. I told you that the Falcons were not that good of a football team. And look, the Eagles are riding high, and the 49ers let that game with the Lions get entirely too close. With that, look, Jalen Hurts impressed the hell out of me.
I'm staring hard as hell at you for your next couple of words. Yeah,
Jalen Hurts looked impressing. With that being said, I still stand by my statement last week that the 49ers are one of the most complete teams in football. It should not have ever been that close with the Lions. Give me the 49ers over the Philadelphia Eagles. But this game is also going to be a close one. I think Jalen Hurts is once again going to look okay. He's not going to look bad. Obviously, I don't think he's going to look elite like he did against the Falcons. But he will look good in a loss. Give me the 49ers.
I don't know if that defensive line – I think that defensive line is going to harass him. But, Aidan, let's go to you.
I'm going with the 49ers as well. I'm big on the Niners this year. Now that they're finally healthy, I think they're one of the best teams in the NFC. I've voiced my opinion on the Eagles before. I still don't think they're that great of a football team. Obviously, a little bit more confidence in them after they absolutely manhandled the Falcons last week. But I think Jalen Hurts might take a little bit of a step back after that great performance. I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Dash?
All right. I think the Eagles actually are going to take it. I think they have a great fan base, and I think the home crowd actually may play a huge advantage in this game. I can see 8 penalties in the first half from the 49ers. I do think Jimmy G will not look good. I think the Eagles have holes, but the 49ers, like Aidan said, are fully healthy. I think that's wrong. They just lost Jason Verrett. They just lost Raheem Mostert. This isn't a complete team. We haven't seen Trey Sermon. We haven't seen Brendan Ayuk. They may be better, but I think Philadelphia at home, yes. I certainly don't like their roster more than the 49ers, but situation right now, I think the Philadelphia Eagles may start the season 2-0.
Cody, bring us back to reality here.
I don't know if I am, to be honest with you. If you look at just strictly from a gambling perspective last week, Raiders underdogs at home, won outright. Saints underdogs at home, won outright. Patriots underdogs at home, covered the spread. Cardinals underdogs, won outright. Lions underdogs at home, covered the spread. Bengals underdogs at home, won outright. Like that. Texans underdogs at home, won outright. There's a trend here. Am I going to take the Eagles on the money line? Probably not. +3. I expect that line to move in the 49ers' favor. You get them at +3.5, +4. I could see it. But 49ers are staying on the East Coast this week. They're staying in West Virginia. I think that the travel thing, a lot of people take that into consideration. That's not the case for this game. Give me the 49ers, but I think it'll be a lot closer than people are considering.
Daniel.
Man, y'all give me some of what you guys are smoking, man. Listen, the 49ers are taking this game. The Eagles' defensive line is great, right? I will give them credit. That's what surprised me. I didn't expect that defensive line to look that good against the Falcons. But tell me that the Falcons' defensive line is anywhere close to the 49ers' defensive line. I know they got a couple of great guys. Grady Jarrett is the top 5 defense tackle, top 10 defense tackle, whatever. This 49ers team is way better than the Falcons. Way better than the Falcons. So I just think that this is a classic letdown for the Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts, while he had a great, phenomenal game against the Falcons, I think he gets a little back to reality with this game. So I'm taking the 49ers in this one. 3.5, the spread, I don't know how it's that close, to be honest. I don't know.
Trench play. That's what I'm going to yell out this week because you look at it, I think all the while the Philadelphia Eagles have a good defensive line, the Niners have one of the best offensive lines. If we're talking about it, you're not going to get pressure on those tackles and Mike McGlinchey and Trent Williams. Not going to happen. They also signed Alex Mack at center. Not going to happen. So with that all being said, yeah, Niners going to win this one. I expect Nick Bosa to have a couple of sacks. That new left tackle that they just signed, he's going to have to prove his money worth, but I think they're going to be harassing Jalen Hurts in the pocket. All the while, the secondary is not amazing. Pressure on that defensive line makes life easy for the secondary. Jalen Hurts is going to have to make some plays if they're going to win, but I do think the Philadelphia Eagles will put up maybe a score or two. We'll see. I want to keep it going, guys. The Texans, David Culley's Texans, right? They at home, they blew out Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer's Jacksonville Jaguars. How they did it, people are too low on Tyrod Taylor, I guess. But the Texans beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now they travel to take on Cleveland. Is everyone feeling an upset here? Is we got the Texans winning this game? Cody, I know you're a man of upsets. I know you like those. So
Look, at dogs at home, I love. Dogs on the road after a thrilling win against a Browns team that is coming off a loss, desperate. And the Browns fans, I mean, I follow a ton on Twitter and Instagram, and they are as excited for this home opener as they have ever been. 12.5-point favorites. Largest line of the week, tied for the largest line of the week. And I think they win. I think they cover. I mean, give me all of the Browns. If you have any Browns in fantasy, like any Browns player in fantasy, you're starting them this week. Yeah. Even Marvin Jones dang near put up 130 and a tutter against those Texans defense. You're starting your Browns this week, and you're not going to worry about it. Browns by 1 million.
Dash, let's just run through these quick, guys.
Yeah, the dogs will win, but not the underdogs. It'll be the Browns in the dog pound. They're going to win pretty easy. Not even close.
Alex?
Yeah, this is the crash back to earth for the Houston Texans. They're going to get absolutely obliterated, and they're going to see a lot of obliterations this season. The Browns is just the first one.
Daniel?
Browns, yeah, not even particularly close. I think Browns get the first win. Texans, yeah, give me Browns.
Aidan?
I picked the Texans last week. No way I'm doing it this week, though. Give me the Browns.
All right, we got the Broncos traveling to Jacksonville. Will the Jacksonville Jaguars get their first victory? Dash, we'll start with you.
Nope. They will not. Broncos are going to win. They're going to go 2-0. Teddy Bridgewater looked good. The Jags looked horrible. That's about it.
Okay. Cody?
Look, that Broncos defense is solid. They put the pressure on Daniel Jones last week. They're going to put a pressure on the rookie this week. I'm not a fan of the 6-point line. I think it's a little closer than that. Broncos like to keep their games low scoring, but give me the Broncos.
Okay. We want to go to Daniel.
Oh, man. Give me the Jaguars. Give me the Jaguars for sure. Listen, Cody, you hit the nail on the head. And we haven't done it yet, but I'm going to just give out, I'm hammering that +6 for the Jaguars. Listen, Trevor Lawrence, yes, he looked bad. But the reality is they were down 14-0 just like that. That was due to their secondary. But in the second half, he looked good. Marvin Jones balled out. DJ Chark balled out. Laviska Shenault balled out, right? So I think that this is a classic game where the Jaguars, they got blown up last week. I think they head back home. They make this a close game. And who knows? Teddy Bridgewater, very conservative. But if they're playing from behind, if you get the Broncos playing from behind, the Jaguars with the lead, Teddy Bridgewater is going to make something happen, and we know he's conservative. Without Jerry Jeudy, Garrett or Graham Glasgow, I think is hurt. I don't know. I'm taking the Jaguars. I'm going with the upset here.
Okay, Alex, what are your thoughts?
I'm extremely high on this Broncos team this year. I think that the Broncos are going to take this one, and I don't think they're going to have any problems taking it. As Cody said, they like to keep their games close and low scoring, so I don't know if it's going to be a blowout on the scoreboard, but it's going to be a blowout for all the people watching. The Broncos are going to control the entire game and get a win.
Aidan?
I actually am a little undecided on this one. I could see the Jaguars winning this. I'm still a little undecided. But as of now, I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. They are the better team on paper. They were impressive last week. The Jaguars were not against a terrible team, the Houston Texans. So I'm going to go with the Broncos for now.
For my pick, you have to subscribe to the TWSN Patreon for my pick. Guys, we're going to run through these a little bit quicker because we got a couple of more games to run through. Just going to run through these a little bit quicker. Aidan, we're going to start with you over here now. Saints take on the Panthers. Who you going with?
One of the closest games of the week. As of now, I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints, though. Winston looked awesome last week. This offense and defense, basically every unit was great. Panthers are going to be a little more competitive than people think this year, but I'm going to go with the Saints.
Alex?
Yeah, I think the Saints win, but y'all know Sam Darnold is my boy. I think this is a close game, depending on the line. I might hammer the Panthers in this one. I think Sam Darnold looked really good. I think the Panthers look like a good football team. Now, and so this one is not going to be anything like the Saints battering of the out-of-place Packers. The Panthers are going to keep this one close, but the Saints are going to pull it out.
Dash, who we got?
Jameis Winston in the LASIK eye surgery for the win. Here again. Saints win.
Cody.
I'm going to take the Panthers on this one. I like Matt Rule. I like what he's doing down there. I like Joe Brady. I think they got enough tools to do it, and you're going to get look, dogs at home. Let's go.
Okay. And Daniel.
Yeah, this is one of the lines I love. The Panthers, man. I'm taking the Panthers at home. Saints, they look good against the Packers. I think they just kind of caught a break there. Obviously, no disrespect to them. Jameis Winston looked way better, but this is a game where Brian Burns could have a big game, force Jameis Winston into a couple turnovers. I'm taking the Panthers here.
For my pick again, subscribe to the TWSN Patreon. Subscribe to the TWSN Patreon. Rams take on the Colts. Daniel, we're going to start with you. Rams at Colts. Who you got?
Ooh.
Let's make our pick.
Ooh. I'm going to put this one on the Patreon because I have a bold take on this one.
Okay.
I do. Everyone's rolling with the Rams. I'm going to put this one on the Patreon.
Okay. Cody, what are your thoughts?
Rams. That Colts they have no weapons. I'm going to be like, oh, Jalen Ramsey's going to shut down. It don't matter. Rams by a lot.
Right. Dash, who you like in this game?
I like the Los Angeles Rams. Same reasons as Cody, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alex?
I'm taking the Rams as well. I think the Rams are a really good football team. I picked the Colts last week, and they disappointed me. Give me the Rams.
And Aidan, who we going with?
I bet on the Matt Stafford MVP hype train. I think he has a great week again this week. Give me the Rams.
Yikes. Yep, I'm going with the Rams in that game. We got the Bills taking on the Miami Dolphins. Alex, let's start with you.
Give me the Bills, but I'm not confident in this one at all. The Bills didn't look great against Pittsburgh Steelers to me, and the Dolphins show that they can really stick it out and win a close game. Give me the Bills just because I think Josh Allen and their offense snaps back into shape against a defense that isn't near as good as the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, yeah, give me the Bills, but I could see this one going either way.
Daniel, who you got?
Bills. This one, I think this is one of my locks of the week. No way the Bills lose this game. Listen, the Bills didn't look bad against the Steelers. They didn't. They held the Steelers' offense to 13 points, got a blocked punt. Steelers' offense went nowhere. They couldn't drive the ball, so the Bills' defense looked good. Josh Allen looked just as composed as always, looked just as calm, just missed on some throws. So I'm taking Josh Allen and this Bills team I think they win by 2 scores.
Okay. Cody, what are your thoughts?
I have 2 plays on this game, and they're both going to be on the Patreon. But again, I think there are some holes to exploit in these lines for this week, and I think this is one of them.
Okay. Dash, you?
I got the Bills. They're going to get one back on the road.
Aidan?
Dolphins looked good last week, but I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. I got the Buffalo Bills winning this game as well. Patriots travel to MetLife, and they take on the New York Jets. Aidan, start with this.
I'm going to go with the New England Patriots to bounce back here. Jets
you are.
aren't that good. It was a winnable game last week against the Dolphins, but obviously the Jets are a step down. I don't see them starting off 0-2. Give me the Patriots.
Okay. Daniel.
My boys, man. Listen, Mekhi Becton got hurt. Jets offensive line looked bad. Zach Wilson was running for his life. Patriots looked good last week. Give me the Patriots in this one.
Cody?
Remember that Mekhi Becton comment I made during the
Yep.
our draft analysis?
I definitely remember.
Oh, what a time. But
Mekhi Becton.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Mekhi Becton.
And I just kept saying it for like the entire show.
I know,
remember that.
dude.
Mekhi.
It ruined it for me. So dog in my heart, love Mekhi Becton. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Patriots in this one. Him
Alex?
missing is gonna hurt.
Patriots are winning this game. I'm still not sold on them as a team, really. I love Bill Belichick, but I'm not high on Mac Jones. With that being said, I think that the Jets are absolutely horrendous, so give me the Patriots.
And, okay, we lost Dash, but I'm guessing Dash, knowing him, knowing our talks, I'm sure he's going to go with the New England Patriots in this game, as am I. Want to keep it going. Our Cincinnati Bengals travel to Soldier Field to take on the soldierless Bears. Cody, we're going to start this one with you. Cody, who do you like in this? Dash is back. Dash, Patriots, Jets.
Patriots.
Okay, I knew it. I'm a mind reader. Cody, Bears take on the Cincinnati Bengals take on the Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago. Who you got?
This game has had a lot of line movement very early. It was originally 3 points to the Bengals. It moved down to 1.5 +3 for the Bengals. It moved down to +1.5, back up to +2.5 now. I'm going to take the Bengals. I think they win outright. Bet them now while you can, because as it gets closer to the week, you're going to lose more and more money as it gets closer. Bengals, money line, book it.
Alex?
Hammer the Bengals. The Bengals are the better team. Just like I said last week, they were a better team than the Vikings, and I think that the Vikings are a better team than the Bears. So I don't see why they can't handle business. Obviously, they're on the road, which makes things a little harder. But I don't think the Bengals are going to have too much trouble violating the Bears this week. I think they win outright as well.
Aidan, who are you going for in this game?
Not a believer in Andy Dalton with this Bears team. I think their defense is overrated. Bengals are coming off a good win. They're the better football team. Give me Cincinnati.
Dash, what are you doing?
Bengals win. Bears defense isn't good. I think if Justin Fields gets at least 3 quarters, this game is very interesting, but it's not going to happen, and the Bengals are going to win.
Daniel.
Bengals, baby. Bengals. Listen, the Bears defense, as we all pretty much said, they look bad. It was the Bears defense. I know everyone's like, oh, no, Bears defense still top 10. Stop it. Tackling, secondary, come on. Offensive line. If people want to talk about Bengals offensive line, just look at the Bears offensive line. Not any better. Give me the Bengals outright in this one.
I have a bold prediction for this game. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to blow out the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. Justin Fields will play in the fourth quarter because it will be garbage time. I guarantee it. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to blow out Sean Desai's terrible Bears defense. The game is going to get out of hand really, really early. I think Andy Dalton's going to throw maybe 2 interceptions. And I think the second half, the Bears aren't scoring 21 on the Bengals. The Bears aren't scoring 21 on the Bengals. The offense is not good enough to do that, unfortunately. And if you saw that Bengals defense that played against the Vikings, and I think the Vikings have a better offense than the Bears personally, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I think the Bengals get their first blowout victory, and I think we see Justin Fields in the fourth quarter, which will then prelude to Justin Fields starting the rest of the year. I believe that. Want to keep it going, guys. We got do we even have to go through this, guys? Let's run through this really fast. Falcons at Buccaneers. Daniel.
Bucks.
Cody.
Bucks, Falcons to cover the +12.5, tied for the largest line of the week.
I don't know if I could see that personally. I don't know. I mean, they couldn't even. I mean, they scored 6 on the Eagles, man. Alex, what are your thoughts?
I'm agreeing with Cody here. Bucks win the game, but Falcons will cover the spread.
Oh, okay. Aidan, what are your thoughts?
Bucks.
Dash.
Bucks.
I think the Bucks are going to play pissed off. I don't think the Bucks are happy in any way, shape, or form with the performance against the Dallas Cowboys. And I think Tom Brady. We already saw Tom Brady release that video, where he did 20. What was it, Aidan?
It was in the background on the computer. They had it. It was I think it was 3:28 or something in the set time on the computer. Yeah,
I think Tom Brady's going to take this game very personal. I think he's not happy with his performance last week, and I think that I think this is a blowout. To be honest with you, I don't know. I'm not saying the Falcons aren't going to score. What's the Falcons kicker's name?
Young Hoku.
Yeah, if you have him in fantasy, I would start him this week because I think he's going to get all of their points. I don't think that the Falcons. I will say, all right, I don't think the Falcons score a touchdown on this Bucs defense. I don't see it. They didn't score a touchdown on the Eagles. They're not going to score a touchdown on the best defense in football in Tampa Bay. They're going to make up for that performance against the Cowboys, but want to keep it going. Vikings take on the Arizona Cardinals. Guys, let's continue to run through these pretty quickly. Daniel, who do you like?
Ooh, this one's tough. Give me the Cardinals.
Okay. Cody.
It ain't tough. Cardinals.
Right. Alex.
Not tough at all. Kyler Murray's a beast. Give me the Cardinals.
Aidan.
Cards.
And Dash.
Cards. Only reason Daniel thinks it might be close or even
You're cutting out a lot, so we didn't hear everything you said at the end. We heard you say Cardinals, but we didn't hear the rest of the part. But I will tell you this: if you want my pick, you have to subscribe to TWSN Patreon. Titans take on Seattle in Seattle. Let's run through this quick. Cody, what you got?
Seattle.
Alex?
I'm going Seattle as well.
Aidan?
Seahawks.
Daniel?
Seahawks.
Dash?
Seahawks.
One more pick. Subscribe to TWSN Patreon. Cowboys take on the Chargers in SoFi Stadium. Daniel, let's start with you. Who we got?
Chargers. Chargers keep it rolling.
Okay. Cody?
Cowboys. They have
Alex?
no business winning this game, and I love it.
Right. Alex, who you got?
I'm taking the Cowboys as well.
Aidan?
Close game, but I'm actually leaning Cowboys here.
Dash?
Chargers win the close one.
How about them Cowboys is my pick. Chiefs take on the Ravens in Baltimore. Sunday Night Football. Daniel, who we like?
One of my locks of the week on the TWSN Patreon. Lock of the week.
Cody, who you like?
Patrick Mahomes and the man. I don't know. I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
Alex?
Give me the Chiefs to beat the hell out of the Ravens.
Aidan?
KC.
Dash?
Too much hesitation from Cody there. It's Chiefs by a mile.
I think we see Lamar Jackson get really flustered, really frustrated. Tyrann Mathieu should be back for this upcoming game. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the dog crap out of the Ravens this game. Although I think Lamar will have his moments where he does shine against that KC defense. And guys, bring us home. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers, welcome in the Detroit Lions to Green Bay. I'm not going to save this for the Patreon. I've been seeing a lot of disrespect for Aaron Rodgers on Twitter. People saying Aaron Rodgers stole the game. People saying Aaron Rodgers doesn't care about football. People saying Aaron Rodgers would have been better off doing Jeopardy. People saying Aaron Rodgers was the 35th ranked quarterback in fantasy football this week. Guys, it's 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. You do the math. The Green Bay Packers are going to obliterate. Like I want to say they are going to eviscerate the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers is going to remind you why he was the MVP last season. Aaron Rodgers is going to remind you why he wanted Randall Cobb back in Green Bay. Last week was a hiccup. I think for whatever reason it was a hiccup. But I think that Aaron Rodgers, sleep on Aaron. You saw me tweet that out, my man. Sleep on Aaron Rodgers at your own discretion. I'm not going to be that foolish. I even had a Game of Thrones theme going. I said winter is coming because I think Aaron Rodgers might put up the most points of a fantasy quarterback this week against the Detroit Lions, especially with a Jeff Okudah-less secondary. Dash, you cover the Green Bay Packers for TWSN. What are your thoughts on this game?
Packers by 1 million. If the game went on for a long time. But no, the Packers, they looked like crap week 1. I said at the beginning of the show, don't overreact. Aaron Rodgers is going to show that he is still that guy. And if I can make one thing clear at all from this show, the Packers will eliminate the Lions. It won't be close. Let's just get that straight.
Yeah. And they're traveling to Green Bay at that. So, Aidan, what are your thoughts?
The Lions are no pushover. They fight, but the Packers are far more talented. Every time you see a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, and we've seen it with Aaron Rodgers in the past, you put them down in the dirt, you start talking bad about them, they're going to come back with an amazing performance. And I see him doing that against this terrible Lions defense. Give me the Packers.
Alex, sorry. Too many A's.
Biggest blowout of the week. The Green Bay Packers will absolutely destroy the Lions, and Aaron Rodgers is going to show why he's still the best quarterback in the National Football League.
Yeah, this is my prediction. If you have anything better going on Monday night, go do that. But if you also want to see a classic quarterback performance, watch the game. It's kind of weird. It's kind of that in between. Cody, what are your thoughts?
I think this game is going to be a little bit closer than you guys are anticipating. While I think that the Aaron Rodgers comes out swinging, Lions aren't going to go down without a fight. I mean, I know they're 11.5-point underdogs, large line, but Dan Campbell had those boys fighting against the 49ers. And while I think the game is going to have some things happen in accordance with the total, you're going to have to see the TWSN Patreon for that, one of my top 3 plays of the week. But I don't think the Lions go down easy. Packers win, but it ain't going to be 11.5.
Daniel?
Packers. They're mad to get Packers easy.
Yeah, it might not be 11.5. It might be 20.5. This game ain't going to be close. I can promise you that. They're going to blow these boys out the water, show them there's levels to it. But really quickly, Cody, bro, this is all you. This is where we shut up. This is all you right here. Fantasy football, quick hits, buy low, sell high players. I did not come up with the topic, so I apologize.
It's all good. So guys there's actually a guy that I'm buying high because I don't think it's high enough. It's Deebo Samuel. I was big on Brandon Ayuk this year. I don't know if that was the correct take, but more than anything, Brandon Ayuk was on the field for 47% of the offensive snaps for that 49ers team, and and Deebo Samuel still put up all those yards. I understand that the Lions secondary is not great, but more than anything, it shows that 49ers team can pass and is looking to do so. They passed early, so I'm loving Deebo Samuel. I think people will try to sell him high, and I don't think it's high enough. So give me some Deebo Samuel. Guys that I am buying low, I'm buying James Robinson low. I think that Urban Meyer is going to figure out really quickly that if he's not going to take that trip over to Southern California, he needs to utilize James Robinson. So I think James Robinson's a buy low. Same with Zeke. The thing with Zeke, if you're going to try to win a football game, maybe you don't play into that defense's best attribute, which is that the Buccaneers can absolutely stuff the run, and they are better at stuffing the run than any defense in football. When you have Dak Prescott and three of the best wide receivers, would you run against the best run defense in football? So I think people are kind of concerned about Zeke, especially after last year. Look, love that Logan, but look, buy low on Zeke. He's going to eat the Cowboys play a handful of teams that really cannot stop the run, especially late in the season. So I'm going to buy him now after that down week. And then a player that I am going, that you're going to sound stupid if you play in a league with kickers. Evan McPherson is going to be a guy that the Bengals rely on. They've shown that they've trusted him 50 plus out. They are going to use that. They're going to be aggressive and try to put up points this season. So give me some Evan McPherson. If you look at that Bengals schedule late, there are a lot of games that are friendly to field goal kickers. So as you get to those fantasy playoffs. So a couple sleepers there for you. I know everybody in every league picked up Elijah Mitchell. Don't lose faith in Trey Sermon. I think that backfield is more of a 50-50 split now that Sermon's out. So there's my monologue, fellas.
One thing I want to say before we get out of here, guys, for the day is there's two players that I just want people to put respect on their names really quickly. I think people forgot, but it seems like they were playing the Jay-Z song, Allow Me to Reintroduce Myself. My name is Hove, because it seems like Rob Gronkowski turned back the clock, and Antonio Brown reminded everyone that in the midst of all the crazy shit that he had going on off the field, he is still one of the best wide receivers in football. Like what he did to that Cowboys secondary, it reminded me of Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh, the years he was shattering records. I don't think Antonio Brown's available in any fantasy league anymore, but I am saying, holy hell, does anybody want to touch on that really quickly? Does anybody have anything they want to add? Because I was one of the people where I was like, I added Antonio Brown. I want to say it was last year, and he kind of had shaky performances where he looked amazing against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, absolutely amazing. And I also think Rob Gronkowski is still the best tight end in football at all purpose, doing everything in terms of blocking, in terms of run blocking, pass blocking, and catching. There's no tight end in football that puts that much stress on the defense in terms of what they can physically do in imposing their will.
Stop the count.
There isn't.
Travis Kelce is a way better tight end.
Whoa.
George Kittle, way better tight end at everything.
Okay. Listen to what I'm saying, guys. I have seen Rob Gronkowski play football for years and years and years and years, right? There's something to be said. Like there are different types of tight ends. Again, if you notice what I said all-purpose tight end, able to do everything, right? George Kittle was probably one of the best tight ends, if not, he is the best tight end at blocking. Him and Rob are 1A, 1B, in my opinion. That's my respectful opinion. Travis Kelce is a finesse guy. He's a guy that's able to get around, run routes, and do that kind of stuff. I'm talking about a guy that you need to go out there and catch a Hail Mary for you when you got three guys trailing him. How many times have we seen Gronk go up against three defenders and when I say physically impose their will in a defense, that's what I mean. His physical stature. You guys are Patriots fans. For you to be sitting up here and saying that and not understand and not being able to resonate what I'm saying is foolish.
Travis Kelce is the same way.
No, he's not.
He's
not. No, he's
not.
Yes.
I'm going to say that because Travis Kelce doesn't block, but
Prime Broncos.
I said,
Prime
and I
Broncos
said,
gonna go.
we said all around, Daniel. We
Yeah,
said all
okay,
around.
yeah. But for my team,
this is not me disrespecting him.
I never
Travis
said you
Kelce, yes, you did.
no, I never said you were
Stop the cap,
disrespecting
stop
him.
the cap, stop the cap.
I said-
Listen,
I didn't say stop the cap. I said no.
I said stop the cap, and I completely feel it.
At the end
George
of the
Kittle
day,
is better than Rob Gronkowski at every single
at
thing.
receiving. At receiving.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Way better.
Jimmy Graham has
Actually,
not played
Foolishness.
16 games in his entire career with any one quarterback. Not one. He hasn't played 16 games with Jimmy G. He hasn't played 16 games with Nick Mullins. He hasn't played 16 games with Trey Lance.
Regardless of what you guys say,
He's
there's not a tight end in football that puts the stress on a defense. There's not a
Travis
tight end
Kelce does.
in football that
Yes.
puts the stress on a defense that can line up against a linebacker, a cornerback, a safety. Hell,
Yes.
all three of them draped on him and still make them look like mincemeat.
Travis
That's not
Kelce
sound true.
has, and
No,
I think you're
no.
thinking about Rob Gronkowski as if this was
No,
6 years ago. This isn't 6 years ago. This is 2021.
No. Listen, Travis Kelce at the end of the day is a different type. He's asked to do different things in that Kansas City Chiefs offense. He catches shuffle passes in that vanilla that cute little offense. What he's able to do, he has Tyreek Hill and everybody else to worry. Absolutely, he's gonna look great because you got to worry about Tyreek Hill damn near running the entire field on you as soon as the ball is snapped.
Oh, and you're not going to look great with Tom Brady as
I've
your
seen-
quarterback the entire career.
That's fine. That's
He's
fine.
always, Gronk
But you
is
act like
always going to be in the best position possible.
Regardless of the throw, you still have to go out there and make the catch.
And Kelce does.
Yeah, and of course he's going to look great
Kelce
when
does not
on
have
he
three
has.
defenders on him. He never has to deal with that. He never has
Okay,
to.
and Gronk
We're
has
acting
worried
like the
about
Bucs
all
don't
these
have it. You
defenders
just
on him when they
talked
have
about
Mike
Antonio
Evans,
Brown.
Chris Godwin, and AD.
I said what I said. Listen, shout out to Rob's
outta
brother,
here.
Chris, who's my guy. At the end of the day, it's still Gronk Nation. Gronk is still the best tight end in football. And my humble, respectful opinion, he doesn't put any stress. No other tight end puts the stress on the defense like he does. These Patriots fans must be bitter and sad because the way he went out. But guess what?
It's called being real. What's he talking about?
Guys, we appreciate you for joining us on the TWS show. We will see you next
Game
Wednesday
Changers.
night, and we appreciate.
Y'all ridiculous.
See you next week.
The marathon continues. The Mamba mentality has left a mark. Shout out to the NBA legend, Kobe, and your daughter, Gigi. From Tom Brady to Drew Bledsoe. Rain, sleet, or snow, I grind. I am clutch. I am the difference maker.
Clip.